Chaos.radio. Music, podcasts, entertainment.
Hello and welcome to the latest edition of NEWSWAVE, written, produced and recorded in the heart of Cornwall by the team here at Chaos Radio. I'm your host, Tom Howe, and I'll be guiding you through some of the insightful guests and exciting news content that we've enjoyed across Chaos Radio this past week. On today's show, we join Richard Spence, James Hamilton Bing and veteran volunteer Charlie to learn about the vision behind October's Veterans Family Day at BlackBearing Ranch and the vital support it offers to armed forces families. We check in with Anneka Wass from Cornwall College St Austell to explore how their Key to the Keay grant is helping put local talent on the stage. As well as that, we take a trip to Wheal Martyn to hear from manager Sue Ford as they prepare to celebrate 50 years of preserving Cornwall's china clay heritage. If all that wasn't enough, we hear from Sarah Yeoman, who shares the latest from Cornwall Air Ambulance and the community keeping the vital resource in the air.
NEWSWAVE.
But first this week, this October, a special event is taking place right here in the St Austell area that's all about connection, community and care for our armed forces families. BlackBearing Ranch will host the Veterans Family Day, bringing together veterans, service members and their loved ones for a day of music, food, activities and even free hearing tests, thanks to the team at Veterans for Veterans. Founding member and veteran director at Veterans for Veterans, Richard Spence, James Hamilton Bing, founder of BlackBearing Limited, and Charlie, a veteran and volunteer at BlackBearing, joined Cheryl Gordon to explain more.
NEWSWAVE.
BlackBearing Ranch was kind of inspired. I struggled really hard when I left the military, and I really needed somewhere like a support network like BlackBearing, and basically we created what I feel was missing in the community, in the veterans community. This event on the 11th of October is all about raising awareness that BlackBearing Ranch exists and promoting, basically, it's like it's okay to be a veteran, it's okay to struggle, and you know, we all struggle deep down somewhere along the line, and it's just a good little place to come with our families really and just have a really decompressed day and sort of celebrate who we are as a community.
What a lovely thing to be able to do. And what kind of atmosphere are you hoping to create for the veterans and their families on the day?
Very much sort of the country western sort of vibe, very much like that out there, and expect music, hog roasts, lots of stuff to do with the kids. We've got Under the Canopy, which is a bushcraft sort of survival company down here in the southwest who is owned by an ex-Royal Marine. So lots of cool stuff to do with the kids. We're also bringing down a Western rider to put on a demonstration. There's lots going on. It's just going to be a really cool, chilled day for everyone to come and network and know that we've got each other's back, really.
You've described the ranch as a safe haven. What kind of work do you do there with ex-service personnel?
So we're a working livery yard. So we've got some livery horses in, and we've bought a few horses and we produce them and stuff like that. So daily yard duties, a veteran can come up, and to be honest, we don't really mind what you do when you come up there. You could come up and put your feet up, put a brew on and just talk away and talk about the old days. Or you could come, right, hey James, can I help out with one of the horses? Yeah, okay, that horse needs sorting out, off you go. Right, what do I do? Okay, we'll teach you what to do. And it's just it's all about getting a veteran out of the house first of all, giving them a purpose, giving them a mission to do. And it's sad to say, but getting a veteran out of the house, even if it's just one veteran coming up that week, you could potentially save a suicide that week. And speaking from experience for myself, that's what I needed. And I just needed somewhere to go, have a purpose, be a part of a community and actually feel like I'm at home.
And you can clearly see that you've got that passion and knowing that how much you struggled yourself to be able to give back to other people now. So giving yourself a purpose, but also giving other people a great purpose to get out of that house each day, really, aren't you?
Yeah, it's been a long struggle. But and personally, it's all I'm saying. It's a hard struggle for people like ourselves, and it's just providing a place that it's okay to be not okay. And we've all got different experiences, and we all offer different things to come to the table at BlackBearing, and we've got a really good network around us. And if someone's really struggling, we can always, don't like using the word signposting, but our network is quite vast. People have come up and they've literally had no work at all, and we've pulled our network together, and then they got a job interview the very day, same day. So the concept works, and for us it's just all about helping veterans, because I know, my family knows how hard it's been, and the last thing I want is a veteran to go through the same road that I went through.
It's really brilliant, and knowing that it's something local in St Austell is so important. Cornwall has one of the highest concentrations of veterans in the UK, doesn't it? Figures show over 30,000 former service personnel living here in the Duchy.
Yeah. Let's get more of you up here at the ranch then, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, don't know about 30,000 people, but definitely get some more veterans up.
That'd be interesting, having 30,000 people up there, wouldn't it?
I don't think that would work.
I guess over a period of time would work, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
In blocks, 30,000 might be listening today, and if at least 5 people are listening today, and knowing that there is that support out there, it's going to make a difference.
Yeah.
Before we hand over to Richard, can I ask where our listeners can look and find more information or get in touch with BlackBearing, please?
Yeah, so we're on Facebook as BlackBearing, and our Instagram's quite the biggest one. It's BlackBearing Ranch, or you could find us at www.blackbearing.co.uk.
Nice and easy.
Really
and
easy.
Of course, if you missed any of this interview, don't worry, because we will have it up later on today on our ability to listen back to as well. So don't worry if you just come in the door and missed the first part of this amazing interview. James, thank you so much for talking to us.
No.
A really great interview here this morning on Chaos Radio. Now let's bring Richard Spence, founding member and veteran director at Veterans for Veterans, a company offering a free hearing test and support at the event, and this in itself is really important. Richard, thanks for joining us this morning. Can you tell us about Veterans for Veterans and the work that you do?
Hi Cheryl, thanks very much for having us this morning. I really appreciate it.
It's our pleasure.
So Veterans for Veterans essentially are a team of former military professionals. They came together to form a business to help members of the veterans community to navigate the complexities and legal challenges of the civil injuries process, in particular when putting in claims against the MOD for injuries sustained during their military service. We've got duality of role. We not only do that, but we reach out to various welfare support hubs all around the UK. James and his colleagues being a classic example of that, where we have a no walk past policy when we encounter a veteran who's having any struggles. We make sure we refer them over so as they've got some sort of welfare conduit through which they could go to and receive some sort of tangible welfare support to help them out. At the moment, we have teams all around the world. We're a global initiative. Our main effort's clearly the UK to provide a service for the 2.4 estimated veterans that reside within our shores, but we've also got teams in North America and teams in the APAC territories. And these guys deal with the expat veteran community to make sure no one's left behind. And if they want to put in a claim, they can do it from their own region. They can also take hold of our service.
That's really good that they think it's not just here, it's like everywhere that people have got that support out there. Again, I can see that you have a passion for being able to support other people who have been through maybe similar things that you have.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've all been through the grinder, if you want to call it that. We've all conducted operations around the world that have left their scar, both physically and in most cases mentally. A lot of veterans do find it hard to adjust to civilian life, and there are very sort of commendable initiatives out there, like the Armed Forces Community Covenant, but they can seem a little diffuse to the veterans when they come out. Some regions are better than the others. Cornwall happens to be one of the better regions, I'm happy to say. And that's fantastic. But the reality is, as veterans, we tend to do everything for ourselves. And the sort of initiative that James is running here, along with his colleague Charlie and their other friends up at BlackBearing Ranch, I think that is a classic example of the sort of veteran support that we run internally and Indigenous within our own sort of community. And it really helps the families, helps the veterans, and it helps us reconnect with our network, something that we had lost when we left the military.
Why is hearing loss such a common issue among ex-service personnel?
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of people ask that question, but the reality is, I think there's a fundamental difference between noise-induced hearing loss and what we would call industrial hearing loss. And noise-induced hearing loss is basically military noise-induced hearing loss is caused by the triple nexus of exposure to kinetic weapons, munitions, and also loud machinery, marine engineering, aviation, that sort of thing. So all those things happening together for prolonged periods over an extended period of time during service life is bad enough. But when you're exposed to that and you haven't got the proper personal protective equipment, in that case air defence, then that can exacerbate the conditions that you're exposed under, and it can cause serious damage that can manifest itself immediately or later on in life. And that's what causes noise-induced hearing loss, and that's the significant difference between that and industrial hearing loss, and that's obviously what we're trying to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. What kind of support will your team be offering on the day?
Well, on the day, I mean, we spoke about this when myself and James and his colleagues first got together at BlackBearing Ranch about a month or so ago, when this was pretty much in the conceptual sort of stage. And one of the things we could provide straight away was direct funding to help run the event. That was clear and obvious. The other thing was obviously using our own marketing team to provide sort of marketing initiatives, advertising. The reason why we're in here today is probably a product of that sort of work. But also on the day, we're going to actually have a physical footprint and presence ourselves. We're going to bring a logoed Airstreamer in. We'll have a pickup truck, a couple of our staff, former veterans, our serving veterans, former service personnel, veterans, will actually be there themselves, and they will be on hand to explain to any member of the veteran community that wants to inquire what the claims injury process is all about relative to noise-induced hearing loss, and also some of the other activities that Veterans for Veterans are involved in the greater sort of veteran economic community. What we will also do is be running some audiograms throughout the day. So if you're a veteran, you think you've been exposed to noisy environments that could have caused any sort of noise-induced hearing loss, pop in, we'll give you a free hearing test. You never know what the result may pop up, and then you can take it from there. What
kind of support will your team be offering on the day?
Well, on the day, I mean, we spoke about this when myself and James and his colleagues first got together at BlackBearing Ranch about a month or so ago, when this was pretty much in the conceptual sort of stage. And one of the things we could provide straight away was direct funding to help run the event. That was clear and obvious. The other thing was obviously using our own marketing team to provide sort of marketing initiatives, advertising. The reason why we're in here today is probably a product of that sort of work. But also on the day, we're going to actually have a physical footprint and presence ourselves. We're going to bring a logoed Airstreamer in. We'll have a pickup truck, a couple of our staff, former veterans, our serving veterans, former service personnel, veterans, will actually be there themselves, and they will be on hand to explain to any member of the veteran community that wants to inquire what the claims injury process is all about relative to noise-induced hearing loss, and also some of the other activities that Veterans for Veterans are involved in the greater sort of veteran economic community. What we will also do is be running some audiograms throughout the day. So if you're a veteran, you think you've been exposed to noisy environments that could have caused any sort of noise-induced hearing loss, pop in, we'll give you a free hearing test. You never know what the result may pop up, and then you can take it from there.
Charlie, you are very welcome to be here this morning on Chaos Radio. It's lovely to have you here. Now, what does an event like this coming up mean to you personally?
Well, really, it's going to be an event where hopefully many other veterans can turn up with their families. We can obviously chat and go through our past experience. Myself being a former Falklands veteran, been through many things through the years. Even more recently, lost my wife a few months ago, so that put me in back in a black hole, deep hole. I come across James and BlackBearing Ranch, and to be honest, it's like lifted me slightly out of there. It's a nice, safe place to go whenever you want, day or night, even if you want to be on your own and have a bit of peace, or walk round and have a look at the horses. There's little nice things to do there, a nice peaceful place, and I just feel comfortable there.
That's great to be able to do that, isn't it? Knowing that there's always somebody, and especially if you're on your own, and having that company and with people that understand where what your thoughts and feelings may be. Doing that is obviously a great support to you. It's
been a great support. To be honest, I don't really know what I would have done without James and the ranch, because it's given me a bit of confidence back. Yeah, I just feel part of the family when I go there. You're always made welcome. You want to do a little bit of something, whatever it might be, if it's fixing things, cutting the grass, whatever's going on, whether you just want to sit there and chat, pull up a sandbag, there's always something there for the veteran.
Oh, that sounds absolutely awesome, Charlie. What is it? Well, you sort of touched on it already. What is it like being part of the team at BlackBearing Ranch?
Well, it's nice to be back with veterans after sort of being out on my own for many years. I lost touch with combat stress after they finished years ago, and it's just nice to be with other veterans and civilians as well. My aim is I like speaking to veterans about past experiences, and if we can help them move forward in any way possible, that's what we like to do.
Makes an awful lot of sense, that does, doesn't it?
I think so, yeah.
How do you think events like this help veterans reconnect with each other and with their families?
Families have always worried about their sons or their daughters being veterans, and I think it gives them a bit of confidence knowing that they're back with veterans who've been through similar types of things through their life and through their careers, and it's just comforting to know that they're all reading off the same page, as it were. Yeah, it's just an interesting time to be back with veterans together.
Good stuff. Now, if there's any veteran out there who's unsure about coming along to the event, what would you say to them right here, right now?
Yeah, what I'd say is obviously everybody's a little bit shy, whether that's the right word, or weary to make that first contact, but just to know that obviously we're veterans ourselves, we've come across the same, been in the same circumstances, and you can either reach out to James or myself, or just direct to BlackBearing Ranch. I'm sure you can find it on Facebook and other social media. Just make contact, even if you just say hello, and we'll always get back to you, can chat with you, and hopefully bring you forward and up to the BlackBearing Ranch, where you can spend a little bit of time and have a bit of solace.
NEWSWAVE.
Now, Cornwall College St Austell has announced a new grant called the Key to the Keay, designed to open doors for individuals, groups and organisations across Cornwall looking to take centre stage. Anneka Wass, Curriculum Area Manager and Performing Arts Teacher at St Austell College, joins Cheryl Gordon to explain more.
NEWSWAVE.
So the Keay Theatre is a 224-seater theatre in St Austell, based at Cornwall College St Austell, and it is an amazing venue. I love it. It's so great, and it's got its own bar and dance studios as well, all tied in with it. We host acts pretty much every weekend. We have bands, we have theatre shows, we have community groups, dance schools, all kinds of different companies come to our venue. We book acts in, and people book us to hire us, and it's fabulous. And we have really an amazing technical backline as well, with amazing lights and sound, and so generally it's a really busy theatre. In the last 3 years we've kind of relaunched it. So I moved down to St Austell, to Cornwall 3 years ago, and the theatre was on a bit of a hiatus. It had obviously locked down, and it had our internal performances, so like we have a performing arts course and they perform a lot of the venue. We did have some dance schools in, but Jonathan Stamp, our technical manager, kind of relaunched it, and he gets acts in every weekend, so it's really, really busy all the time, and now it's become like a proper thriving theatre, which is really exciting.
Yeah, we love to share any of the events that you've got going on at the Keay Theatre. I know Henry, who does our Showtime, he's always really keen, and he's been a few times to the Keay Theatre to see performances, and it's a really comfy, cute little theatre, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really comfy. It's lovely, and we've got a great team that look after you when you're here as well.
And accessibility to the theatre is all sort of flat going in and slopes and places that, you know, people can easily access the theatre too.
Yeah.
Which is always wonderful when you want to go for a night out, looking at different ways that you can access things. Now, how long has theatre been running for now in total?
Oh, now you're testing me.
It's quite a few years, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think 30 years or something like that, maybe even longer. But like I say, in the last 3 years, it's really kind of kicked up a notch.
Oh, it's great. It's great to see something going on really well. Of course, we've got St Austell Arts Theatre as well as you as well. So having those two venues, and I think sometimes you're bringing sort of different styles, aren't you? So it gives people different opportunities. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I think our main the main shows that we have at the theatre are probably bands. So we have a lot of music. We do have community groups as well with their larger scale shows coming to us. So it's mostly music, and then we've got that theatre stuff as well. But I think, you're right, because the Arts Centre, they do a wonderful, they have a lovely programme of like local community groups, and they have a lot of Restormal things coming their way as well. So they have a slightly different offer, and I think the more arts venues and arts entertainment that we can have in St Austell, the better. And we reach really far. I mean, people come from all over to come to the Keay. When you look at where our audiences have travelled from, I mean, they come from like down at the Lizard or up from Bodmin, like from all over. So it's nice to have that reach in Cornwall and be able to provide something for everybody to come to.
Absolutely. This is a good question for you now, but you'll probably go, "Oh, Cheryl, I don't know." But has there ever been? Can you think of something that's really stood out a lot for you? What has been like a favourite thing that you've had that's been there that you've had a chance to see?
Well, we had the All Seasons, which are like the Four Seasons tribute act down, and they were flawless. That was amazing. That was a really good night because it felt like you were almost like at a West End show. That was brilliant. Obviously, I'm a performing arts teacher, so what stands out for me as well is our performances, our internal performances, so our students performing. In my first year, they did Chicago, and they were epic. They were so amazing, and we got a really professional setting. It just felt like the real deal. So it was really nice to offer that to our students, for them to be on a really big stage with the full professional set and full lighting and mics, and make them feel like it is a West End show. But also, I love the panto every year. So we have the local operatic society come in and do their panto, and it's always really good.
Oh, no, you don't. That's such a bad joke. Such a bad joke. I am not known for doing any good jokes at all. Anyway, let's just talk about, you've been given the chance to become a bit of a fairy godmother, really, haven't you? To allow various groups in St Austell and the surrounding area to use the theatre for a production of their own. Can you tell the listeners about this exciting opportunity at the Keay Theatre and what has inspired it?
So it was really inspired by us wanting to do something to offer the community. As a college, it's really important to us that we engage with our local community, and for them to feel like this is a place they can come to. And the Keay, we have our regular community groups. We have the Operatic Society come in, and we have another local amateur dramatics company come every year for their musical. We have loads of dance schools book us for hire. But we were saying, well, what would be really nice is to offer a free hire to somebody. And it doesn't have to be an amateur dramatics group. This can be anybody that wants to come and use the theatre, but perhaps the hire fee is a barrier. And we already do a community rate for people that are community groups or charitable organisations, but this one would be free. So they get either a matinee or an evening, and they can put on a show, and we will support them with technical, whatever they need on the day, and they can have some rehearsal time in the theatre on the day, and they could take all the ticket money. That's the idea. So if it was a local amateur dramatics group, they might want to be fundraising for their next performance. You might have a band that want to do an album launch, but can't, and then this gives them an opportunity to have a free space to do so. It might be a solo artist that wants to have their first big show in a theatre. It can really be any different type of organisation. We've got a list of criteria that we have that we're working to. And that is that they are a local theatre company or a youth group or school production, a performance that celebrates Cornish culture, educational or community focused projects, charities or non-profit groups, or individual performers. So that's quite a lot of different groups that applies to. So really, like, anybody can look at that and think, where do I fit in that criteria? Can I apply? And then we have 2 dates in May that they can apply to do that for. The applications are live now, and they close in October to give the company or person time to then plan their show and market it ready for that May date.
NEWSWAVE.
Right, I'm Tom Howe, and you're listening to NEWSWAVE on Chaos Radio. As the largest mining industry in Cornwall, China clay has shaped the landscape and lives of the local community for over 250 years. The rich history of the industry, which has produced over 170 million tonnes of China clay, is preserved and shared by the dedicated team at Wheal Martyn, located within 2 historic Victorian works in St Austell. Each month, we catch up with the team on breakfast to hear about their latest updates, current campaigns, and upcoming events. This month, we were joined by manager Sue Ford, who detailed exciting plans to mark Wheal Martyn's 50th anniversary.
NEWSWAVE.
Well, I mean, it's grown and grown. It started off as a very small site with a very small kind of shop, kind of admissions area with a little film you watched as you arrived, and went out to part of the site. I think initially was the water wheel was found, kind of completely overgrown, and a bunch of Imerys workers that were up at the top, the geology department, had come down, and had a gardener clearing up through the drive, and he said, there's a big bunch of brambles down there, do you want me to go and have a look and get them cut back? And they said, yeah, that'd be great. And then he came up and he said, there's a bloomin' girt water wheel under there. And that was where it came from.
Do you know what, that's really incredible, isn't it, to think that something that's historic was buried away and was unravelled, and the sort of the rest is history, really.
Well, absolutely, and actually unravelled is the right word, because the site at that point was quite a small area with the Linny and the water wheel, and has grown and grown and grown. I mean, we've got 26 acres of kind of woodland walks and nature trails and all the Victorian works. So you've got the working water wheels and the pumps and the settling tanks, so it shows you how they mined the clay back in the Victorian times. But it all kind of got uncovered over time, and we're still now uncovering things. It's kind of getting bigger and bigger every day, but yeah, it's quite an amazing and interesting site. It's
quite quite humbling as being a St Austell girl and living in Cornwall all my life to know that we've got something quite historic there. What does the milestone mean to the team and the local community, do you feel?
Well, I mean, we're trying to mark it with as many occasions as possible by getting the community involved, and obviously for the team being here on the 50th year, it's quite impressive. Sian, who's our exhibition and engagement officer, is about to put in 50 years of Wheal Martyn exhibition, which opens on Friday. So that's got all sorts of memorabilia from over the years that we've collected, and it'll be very 70s through challenges and achievements that we've had until today. So it will be kind of a story of the museum from start through to present day. We're doing a 50th birthday photography competition that we want everybody to get involved in. So we want people's memories from exploring here at Wheal Martyn to clay country, nature and landscapes. We want to hear about the people in the community and also industrial heritage, so photographic memories or photographs from the site. But we want everybody to get involved, and they can have a look on our website and find out a little bit more about that.
Nice. Sounds very exciting and a bit of a challenge for people as well, which will be really great. Are there any standout moments or stories from Wheal Martyn's history that is especially that you're particularly proud of yourself?
Oh, blimey. I mean, I think since I've been here for 13 years, and it's grown a lot since. So South West Lakes Trust took over Wheal Martyn, I think 15 years ago, and they've kind of really brought it out of itself again. It's good that we're doing a lot more events, we're getting a lot more people involved. So we have regular memory cafes, we have a Cornish speaking group, we have a Stitches group, like all community led groups that come and join us. We do home education groups, we do monthly fundraising music nights. So what we're trying to do is get the community involved as much as possible and them to feel that this is part of their home as well, which is what we're here for. What can visitors expect at the Family Fun Day on the 21st of September? Oh, we've got all sorts of things going on. That's going to be a great day. Yes, so there's fairground games competition, we've got face painting, there's a fun dog show, so bring your lovely pooches along. We've got some Cornish badge making, so we've got a couple of amazing volunteers who take our Cornish, it's called Lywenda Gans Canoic, which is learning Cornish language, and they're going to be making some badges in Cornish language for people. There's garden games, there'll be clay play. There's a lot going on that day, so come along. We've got Morris dancing that people can join in with if they want to. Lots going on. You can already hear in the background some laughing and for a Monday morning. Isn't that incredible to hear that great atmosphere that you have up there? Yeah, we are very lucky. We always have a Monday morning at 9:00. We have a team meeting where we all sit down and catch up on what's going on, what's been going on, and just have a bit of a touch base on a Monday. So that's what you can hear in the background. Oh, it's great. How do events like this help connect families with Cornwall's clay heritage? What a mouthful. Yes, it is quite a mouthful. Within all of these events, we obviously tie it all back into the clay, and within the family workshops, we've got clay play with various things going on. Our music nights are to fundraise for the museum to keep it. Obviously, we're a charity, the museum itself, so that's fundraising to put money back in, and the whole site tells the story of China Clay, and any families coming along, we offer guided tours. We've got all sorts of things going on. So any families coming along get a real sense of how it worked. And I think the whole thing of China Clay is it seems a bit dull. People think China Clay, it's a bit dull. And when they come in, the faces of people when they come back through the door after they've visited the site, just like, this place is amazing. I mean, we get such good feedback. And reading our visitors' comments in our visitor comments book or on TripAdvisor or any of that, it really kind of tells the story. People get a real sense of the industry as it was and it still is today. You know that your hard work it pays off then when knowing that people can absorb the historic nature of sort of Wheal Martyn and St Austell surrounding area where it was a massive industry, when it still is, it's still ongoing, the clay industry in Cornwall. Yeah. So it's a massive part of all of our heritages, and it's really great. Yeah, no, it is, and I think we're really lucky to have this site to tell the story, because I think it is one of the lesser known. Tin is, everybody knows about tin, but China Clay is one that people haven't really engaged with necessarily. So I think we're very lucky having this site to be able to tell the story, and the site also, I mean, there are lots of interpretation panels, so it gives you a lot of information, but you can also see, because it's a working site, you can see how it works, so you don't have to go around and read all of the panels. You can just get a sense of it. If you're not one of those people that likes to take in all the information, you can still pick up how the industry works by looking around rather than having to read everything, which I think is really beneficial. Yeah, that works on sort of a sensory basis. Some people like to think and feel about how it might have been for people, so that sounds really quite good for them. Are there any up-and-coming events or projects that you're excited about, or what you would like to see beyond your birthday celebrations? Yes, so we're starting a fundraising project for our water wheel. Our 30-foot water wheel is needing some repair. So we're starting a campaign to raise money for that. So around the site there will be certain codes. Sian, who does our TikTok, who's got a huge following on our TikTok channel, is going to be doing some fundraising through that area as well. So there'll be various social channels that we'll be looking at. So that's one of our main fundraising projects that we're looking at going forward. We've got workshops and things. We've got lots of pottery workshops coming up, so including kind of for family to join in. We've got basic introductions, pumpkin tea lights, handkerchief vases, leaf bowls, all sorts of things for people to get involved in and actually try their hand at some pottery making and with clay. So yeah, there's all sorts of things people can get involved in.
Sue, it's been an absolute pleasure catching up with you here today. I hope your event on the 21st goes really, really well and lots of people come along and support you. And there's always something going on. You've got a lovely little cafe up there as well where people can come and join in. Just before we let you go, can you just remind us of your website and where people can check out for more information?
Yes, so our website is www.wheal-martyn.com, and all of our events, contact information, everything are on there. Or give us a call on 01726 850 362 if you want to have a chat.
NEWSWAVE.
Right, last but by no means least, established in 1987 as the UK's first air ambulance service, Cornwall Air Ambulance continues to provide a vital lifeline for both residents and visitors throughout Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly. Operating 365 days a year without direct government funding, the charity relies entirely on public generosity to carry out over 1,000 missions annually. Their state-of-the-art helicopters enable the crew to deliver critical care swiftly, often reaching patients within minutes. Each month, Cornwall Air Ambulance join us on Chaos Breakfast to share what they've been up to. For our latest catch-up, Cheryl was joined by Communications and Media Officer Sarah Yeoman.
NEWSWAVE.
This is such an exciting time for us. Like you say, there's just constant kind of fast-paced updates over the last few months, which is incredible for us. So yeah, since last time we spoke, obviously we chatted about the second aircraft having arrived, and it was going through its shakedown period at the end of July, and obviously it came to our flagship event Helifest. We're now delighted to say that second helicopter is in operation. Like you mentioned, went into operation on Tuesday the 5th of August for the first time. So G Connell is now officially in service, as well as G Cruel, and we're regularly rotating between the two aircraft to carry out our missions across Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly.
And it must be enhancing your operations considerably, having the two aircrafts that you can use at any given time.
Yeah, what's been great is that we've been able to bring it into service for that really busy summer season. Obviously, down here in Cornwall, as everybody knows, it gets incredibly busy during the summer months. And obviously, as the population swells, our missions increase as well. And an increase in missions means more wear and tear, more hours put on an aircraft. So, that's more demand. So the fact that we've now got two, so, if there's an issue with one or it needs servicing because it's got a lot of flying hours on it, we've got another one ready and available to use. So yeah, it's been perfect timing for us to be able to bring this second one into operation, because it's just meant throughout the busy summer period we've always had an aircraft there ready and available to use, whereas previously, if for whatever reason the aircraft was offline, we were either leasing a backup or it meant we could only respond via road in the critical care cars. So it's just about providing us with that resilience, which it really has been doing over the last few weeks since it's come into operation.
You've got current figures for the mission numbers for the first half of the year. What impact has this had on supporting the local communities in life-saving missions?
Obviously, the missions we carry out are only possible thanks to people who donate, and those people out in the community, whether it's community groups, whether it's individuals, whether it's local businesses. We can't carry out our life-saving missions without your support. And it was a busy first 6 months of the year, 483 missions between the 1st of January and the 30th of June, which is about average for us. Obviously, we are tasked to around 1,000 missions every year. The summer months do tend to be the busiest, so we see that spike in July, August especially. So it is kind of on average for us, but it just shows that the demand is still there. It's another busy year, and there was a bit of an even split, as is normally expected, expected in terms of what those incidents were, which we were tasked to. So 206 of those were trauma-related incidents, 149 were medical, 116 were cardiac arrests. About a third of the missions we're tasked to each year are cardiac arrests. And we also carried out 12 into-hospital transfers. So yeah, it's been a busy first part of the year. It's now obviously in the swing of a busy summer period. So yeah, it's all going well, and it's just an incredibly exciting time to be able to bring that second aircraft into operation.
Just remind the listeners about what sort of service that the aircraft, the very qualified teams that are on there, they can bring to any individual at any given time.
So we're operational 19 hours a day, 365 days a year. So that's from 7 in the morning through until 2 in the morning. And the crew works in 2 shifts. There's an early shift, which is from 7 a.m. through until 5 p.m. And there's a late shift, which starts at 4 p.m. So there's an hour crossover, and then they work through until 2 in the morning. And our crew is normally made up of 1 pilot and 2 critical care paramedics. However, we are now moving towards having a critical care doctor on board with us most days as well. It's something we've been doing for years, but we're now moving towards having one on board 7 days a week on that early shift. So you're always going to have at least 3 people, sometimes 4. And the critical care paramedics also operate as what we call a technical crew member. So you'll have one of them sit up front with the pilot. We're a single pilot service. But a CCP will operate as a TCM, essentially, to provide that extra assistance in terms of navigation, spotting hazards, especially, we don't know where we're going to be called or where necessarily we're going to be landing. So it's identifying anything which might be there as a risk, as a hazard, making sure we can get to the scene safely and as quickly as possible so we can treat the patient who needs us. Our paramedics are all critical care paramedics, so they've all followed a master's pathway to gain their qualification, and essentially they're the most highly trained paramedics in the county, and the level of treatment that they can provide is just that level up. They can provide really advanced interventions to patients who need it, and it's about those category 1 incidents where we can really make a difference, those people where it really could be a case of life or death, or really just need that critical care, that pre-hospital emergency care at the scene. And some of the things we can now provide, so we can do blood transfusions at the side of the road. If someone's been in a road traffic collision and have suffered a traumatic internal injury, they may require a blood transfusion before they even reach hospital. And we're now able to do that thanks to the help of Cornwall Blood Bikes, another amazing charity, and of course RCHT. So it really is just about being able to not only convey a patient to the most suited hospital, and that might be Treliske, but also our major trauma centre is in Plymouth. It's in Devon. It's not even here in Cornwall. And obviously the major trauma centre for children is in Bristol. Sometimes if you've got severe burns, you might need to go further afield. So what we can provide is obviously being able to convey a patient to the most suited hospital for their onward care. But it's also about getting our crew, who are so highly trained, and their equipment, which is very advanced. It's all about being able to get them to the scene as quickly as possible to treat that patient, because quick intervention, as we know, can make such a difference to somebody's outcome. So obviously it's about getting the crew and the kit to scene as quickly as possible, and then having that really capable aircraft to be able to take that patient to the best suited hospital. And the great thing about the AW169, of course we now have 2, is that there's so much space in the rear cabin for the crew to be able to treat the patients in flight. The stretcher is down the middle and provides the crew with almost 360-degree access to the patient. And there's loads of space for them to store all their specialist kit and equipment and anything that they might need during flight. It's also a great aircraft for our pilots to fly. It's got a high payload capacity, meaning we can carry more weight. It's got high fuel capacity. Especially in the summer months, we can be tasked from mission to mission without much downtime, and it just provides us with that extra fuel capacity to be able to carry out those missions. So it really is a great aircraft for the service that we provide to the people of Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly.
So much can be done and brought to the people of Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly quite quickly, and especially getting to things like Derriford or Bristol Children's Hospital. What would take by road, which would be the discomfort of the patient as well. All of that will have a profound effect on them and getting them the treatment they need. this is just such incredible stuff. Now, of course, we've talked about it doesn't fly without the money that comes in from the wonderful people of Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly. And you have got an event coming up very soon. Do you want to share that with us?
We have indeed. So obviously our flagship event, Helifest, took place in July, which went incredibly well. And thank you to everybody who came along on the day to Scoria House. We had such a great time. And obviously it was the first opportunity for people to see their new helicopter up close, which was wonderful. We've now got another event coming up. So on Saturday, the 18th of October, we've got the return of Runway Runaround. We did it back in 2019, took a break, and then it came back last year. And again, this year, it's coming back to Perranporth Airfield, which is a really great location. And essentially, it's a running event, but it's suitable for all abilities. We've got a 10k adults run that takes place, and we've also got a 2.5k children's run that takes place. Of course, fancy dress is encouraged. Last year, there were some incredible costumes. I think my favourites were these inflatable fox costumes, which just looked amazing. So it's all about coming along, having a go. You know, we had some people last year who walked the 10k. Actually, one of the people who walked it was a former patient who had suffered a cardiac arrest earlier that year and then went to walk it with his family, and then actually crossed the line with one of our critical care paramedics, Paul, who had treated him at the time. And Paul, as people may or may not know, is a bit of a star runner. So he was then able to cross the line with Paul, which was just the most wonderful moment. But yeah, it's all about coming along, having a go. And remember, every entry fee, that's potentially life-saving donations, which are coming to us. And obviously we can't carry out these missions. We can't continue to operate. The crew can't go to those people who really need our urgent care without people's donations. So any extra fundraising that you'd like to do on top of your entry fee is of course encouraged. But even just by signing up, coming along, obviously it's a great thing to keep fit. It's a lovely kind of community spirit on the day, and all goes towards such a great life-saving cause.
Fun day out with all your friends and family and raising money for something that's totally incredible and something that we take for granted. And I know we've talked about, you know, it probably all of us in our lives. I think I spoke to Tim about this, you know, it's impacted, the air ambulance has impacted us. I know it had a big impact on a friend of mine who was very young, was 27 and had a stroke. Got her to Derriford right away, saved her life. So it really does have a massive impact on timescales and getting to the patient. So the more money that can be found in order to support these two great crafts is the better it will be.
That's the thing. And I think being here in Cornwall, obviously we're a tight community anyway, but I think having been the first air ambulance in the UK, obviously launching back in 1987, you know, that's 38 years we've been in service. And I think everybody has a personal story about how they may have been affected by Cornwall Air Ambulance. And that's, you know, if they've been helped themselves, if it's a friend or a loved one, like with yourself, or it may just be, you know, you see it in the sky. Maybe you live under a flight path or near Treliske and you see it go over regularly. Maybe you see it land near to where you are. Maybe you've been on the beach having a nice day out and it's been there. I think everybody has some sort of connection with it. And obviously just being able to see it in the sky, which obviously is impressive, but just knowing that it's going to help somebody when they're having their worst possible day, and knowing that it's us, the people of Cornwall, who are making that happen. Because it's funded, you know, it's for the people of Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly, funded by the people of Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly. And obviously it's wonderful that we've now got these two aircraft to be able to serve our community. But actually, you know, with that comes rising operational costs. And we are a charity. We rely solely on people's donations to be able to keep running. And, you know, unfortunately, it is expensive. As soon as you combine the clinical world with the aviation world, things don't come cheaply. So, you know, it does cost us over £8 million a year to keep our service running. And we are so incredibly lucky and incredibly grateful to be so well supported. Our supporters really are something else. They're such an incredible bunch here in Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly and beyond. But yeah, it really is needed, you know, now more than ever, in terms of being able to keep that service running. And so, yeah, by doing something like coming along to Runway Runaround, taking part, having a day out with the family, there's a cafe on site, there'll be a live DJ and a warm-up session to get the atmosphere going. It really will be a great day. Fingers crossed the weather will be nice as well, which always helps. And it's a really nice venue do as well over at Perranporth Airfield. So yeah, we're hoping for a really good day.
Not forgetting that you've got lots of shops in and around Cornwall. Launceston, you've got a new shop there. So by making maybe donations of things that you no longer need to the shops, or actually going in and buying something within these shops makes a difference. So the more the better. Sarah, is there anything else you want to sort of tell us about before we let you go today? Because I know you're a busy lady.
Definitely pop along and visit one of our shops. We've got 8 now across Cornwall. We also opened a new shop in Truro in July, and that's all going really well. So please pop in. Like you say, every donation you can make or every item that you might want to purchase when you're in there having a shop can have such a life-saving impact. And the other exciting thing that we've got coming up soon is the week commencing the 8th of September is Air Ambulance Week. So that's a national awareness week across the country led by Air Ambulances UK, where it kind of brings all the air ambulance charities, all 21 of us together to kind of raise awareness and celebrate the work that we do. Please keep an eye out on our social media across that week and share the message of what we do and why it's important. And for us, obviously, this Air Ambulance Week, it's all going to be about celebrating how successful the Heli 2 mission was and having those 2 AW169 helicopters now here to serve the people of Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly. So yeah, please join us for Air Ambulance Week and celebrating all the great work of all the great air ambulance charities across our country and what they do.
NEWSWAVE.
Okay, that's all we've got time for on this week's edition of NEWSWAVE. A big Chaos Radio thank you to founding member and veteran director at Veteran for Veterans, Richard Spence, James Hamilton Bing, founder of BlackBearing Limited, and Charlie, a veteran and volunteer at BlackBearing. To Anneka Wass, curriculum area manager and performing arts teacher at St Austell College, Wheal Martyn manager Sue Ford, and to communications and media officer at Cornwall Air Ambulance, Sarah Yeoman. And as ever, a final thank you to you for listening and helping support local journalism to thrive. To catch up on all our coverage, as well as to check out our extensive back catalogue of interviews and shows, head on over to chaos.radio. And remember, if you have a local news story that you'd like to share with us, email news@chaos.radio or search Chaos Radio UK across socials. That's it, you're up to date here on Chaos. I'm Tom Howe, thank you so much for joining us. See you next week.
NEWSWAVE.
Chaos.radio. Music, podcasts, entertainment.